Helps the voiceless creature. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel The Vet Tutorial. Today we are going to study descriptive anatomical terminologies, or we can say basic terminology for anatomy. Before starting this, please subscribe my channel and also click the bell icon to get latest update of my videos. And also if you like, give a very big thumbs up. Let's begin. Knowing these terms is very important during studies, especially in anatomy or doing practicals, and it is also very important during surgeries or we can say operations. Remember that in veterinary medicine, anatomical terminology varies significantly from human medicines. At the end of this video, we can clearly understand descriptions of body parts and their relative positions. Also, we can know about different body planes and able to locate the various anatomical areas on an animal and know about different anatomical terms related to mouth and clearly understand movement and posture of the body and divisions of gross anatomy. Before we start, remember that all the terms or terminologies which are going to study mostly come from Latin or Greek, which used to indicate precisely the position and direction of different parts of the body. Let's start. As we can see, it is an elephant, the part which is nearer to the skull, or we can say towards the head region, is known as cranium, and the part which is more towards the tail end, or we can say the position more towards the tail, is known as caudal. Let's understand with the example. So example of cranial is diaphragm is cranial to the stomach, or head is cranial to the tail. And the example of caudal is ribs is caudal to the neck, or we can say tail is caudal to the head. The second term is dorsal and ventral. So the part which is towards or near the back or vertebral column of any animal is known as dorsal. For example, backbone is dorsal to belly, and the part which is towards or near the belly or the lowermost surface of the body of any animal is known as ventral. For example, kidney is ventral to backbone. Then third is proximal and distal. The part which is nearest to the center of the body is known as proximal, and the structure which is away from the center of the body is known as distal. This proximal and distal is usually used for the structure of the limbs. And the example of proximal is shoulder is proximal to elbow, and distal is tibia is distal to femur. And the next is superior and inferior. Those structure which are above the different structure is known as superior, and those structure which is below the other structure is known as inferior. For example, mouth is inferior to nasal cavity. This is the example of inferior. And if we reverse this statement, that is nasal cavity is superior to mouth, is the example of superior. And the next is deep and superficial. Those structure which is situated far beneath the surface is known as deep. For example, bone are deep to the skin, and those structure which are close to the surface, or we can say near to the surface of the body, is known as superficial. For example, skin is superficial to underlying muscles. And the next terminology is rostral. Those structure which is towards the nose is known as rostral. For example, nose is rostral to the eyes. It is used to describe the position of structures present on the head. Next is Peripheral, which means structure situated near the outer area, or we can say surface of the body. For example, subcutaneous fat is peripheral to the muscle. Then the next is medial and lateral. Those structure which is nearer to the midline, or we can say the medial plane, is known as medial, and those structure which is away from the midline or medial plane is known as lateral. For example, ribs are lateral to the lungs, which is the example of lateral. And if we reverse this statement, that is, lungs is medial to the ribs, is the example of medial. Or we can take the another example, that is, heart is most medial organ. These two terms are most confusing, so I will explain these two terms under the topic planes of the body. And the most important thing you should know as a veterinarian is that we do not use the terms superior and inferior for animals. They are only used to describe the position of structures in the human being, and if possibly in apes. Then we are going to study about terminologies related to planes of the body. First is transverse plane, or we call it as cross section, which means plane perpendicular to the long axis of the body or limbs. Not necessarily it divides into equal plane. If it divides the body, it divides into cranially and caudally, and if it divides the limbs, it divides into upper and lower part. Second is medial plane. It divides the body longitudinally into symmetrical right and left halves. Suppose we draw a line from middle of the animal from nose to the tail, and that plane is known as median plane. As I told earlier, let's understand lateral and medial carefully. Suppose the red line is the midline or the median plane, and the apple placed on the either side of the midline and the banana is placed on the either side of the apple. So here we can say that the apple is medial to banana, or we can say that banana is lateral to the apple. And then let's take the example from anatomy for clear understanding. Ribs are lateral to the lungs, or we can say lungs is the medial to the ribs. Then third is paramedian plane or sagittal plane. It is parallel to the median plane, and also it divides the body into left and right part, but not equally. Then fourth is coronal plane, which means any plane which is right angle to the sagittal plane is known as coronal plane. And then frontal plane and horizontal plane. With this plane cuts the long axis of the body of an animal horizontally. This is perpendicular to the sagittal plane and transverse plane of the body. Is known as frontal plane or horizontal plane. Here we ends the planes of the body, and then starts terms and virtual planes for the legs. Remember that some specific words are used for the legs. First is abaxial, which means lying outside the axis of the legs or limbs. Then axial, which means lying towards the axis of the limbs or legs. Then appendicular, which is related to the limbs or appendages. Then fourth is brachial, which means proximal area of the front leg of an animal above the elbow. Then cranial and caudal. I hope you already remember that we already studied in the earlier sections, where the caudal means structure towards the tail end and cranial means structure towards the head. But for the legs, caudal means backside of the leg above the carpus and tarsal, and cranial means front side of the leg above carpus and tarsal. Then palmar, the rear surface of the forefeet from carpus to phalanges. Or we can say the surface of forelimb that contacts the ground in the standing condition. Then plantar, which means the rear surface of the hind limb from hook to the phalanges. Or we can say the contact surface of the hind limb in the standing condition. Then we are going to study patella, which is related to patella or kneecap. Then antebrachium, which means the distal area of the front leg below the elbow joint. Then we are going to study anatomical terms for mouth. First is buccal. The surface of the tooth that is next to the cheek is known as buccal. As a directional term, buccal means towards the cheek. Then labial, which means surface of incisor teeth that is next to the lips. And then palatal, which means surface of upper teeth that is next to the hard palate. Then lingual, which means surface of lower teeth that is next to the tongue. And as an adjective, lingual means pertaining to the tongue. Then the last term is occlusal, which means surface of the tooth that makes contact with the opposing tooth. It is the chewing or biting surface. As a directional term, occlusal means towards the chewing or biting surface. Then we are going to study about movements and position of the body. First is abduction, which means movement of limb parts away from the medial plane. And then adduction, which means movement of body parts towards the medial plane. Then circumduction, which means movement of part and extremely in circular direction. Next is flexion, which means the act of flexing or bending, in which the angle decreases between the body parts. Then extension. It is opposite to flexion, described as straightening movement in which there is increase in the angle of the body parts. Then next is recumbent, which means lying down. A modifying term is used to describe the surface on which animal is lying. For example, dorsal recumbency means the animal is lying on its back in which face is upward. And the ventral recumbency means an animal is lying on its ventral surface or its belly. If animal is lying on its sides, it is called as lateral recumbency. On the right side is called as right lateral recumbency, and on the left side it is called as left lateral recumbency. And the last term is rotation, which means turning or movement of body around its axis. And at the end of this video, I am going to discuss about divisions of gross anatomy. According to the study of different organ systems, the gross anatomy may be divided into following chapters. First is osteology, which means study of bones. Second is arthrology or syndesmology, which means study of joints. Third is myology, which means study of muscle. Fourth is splanchnology, which means study of visceral organ of different systems. Fifth is angiology, which means study of heart and vessels. Then sixth is neurology, which means study of organ of nervous system. And the last is aesthesiology, which means study of organ of special senses. For example, eyes, nose, ear, etc. Thanks for watching my video. Stay safe and let meet in the next video.